Hello, YouTube, the Kingpin of Cinema.
And the QB999.
And we're here to do our movie review of the latest Harry Potter installment.
Captain America.
Harry Plopper in the zillion dollars we make on these goddamn movies. No, I do like the movies, however. I mean, they are fun.
You know, this is actually a series that, it's kind of like Toy Story. It starts out young, and it's grown up with its audience. Although Toy Story kind of did it a few years apart between each other, this one's come out like every year.
Yeah,
just about.
Yeah, every year. Every year there's been a Harry Potter film for 8 years now.
So it's kind of like Toy Story, just over much greater time.
Now, I have read the novels.
I've only read like the last 2.
I do like the novels. I do like the movie adaptations. But my personal feelings towards the series is it never got better than the third one. The third movie / third novel is the pinnacle of the Harry Potter series.
Yeah.
And it kind of just like slumped and plateaued after that.
You know, kind of like an orgasm, you know, you have that plateau area and then the blue.
The moment where you're just like, thunder, thunder, Thundercats, oh! Alright, good night. I mean, that's how it kind of was, but how does the last movie compare with the others?
And how's it do just on its own? Yeah, I would say it's good. It does a good job of tying everything together.
Kind of. Really,
where this movie does excel is bringing in the character of Voldemort. It does do a better job.
Well, it is nice to see like Voldemort like actually getting
a character,
getting nervous and like getting scared because like they're killing all the Horcruxes,
and he knows it,
and he's feeling it, and he's like they've almost got all of them, and he's like almost on the point of like panicking.
So you see him actually kind of developing more and more.
Yeah. I mean, I was never all that big on Voldemort as the main villain ever, but he is a lot better in this movie, especially the part where they steal the Horcrux from the bank and he goes in there and kills everyone. And he's walking around in the pools of blood.
Yeah,
that was awesome.
So, I do want to say though, one thing I kind of don't like is that they assume that you've read the book. They assume that. So some stuff that's going on, they don't see the need to explain.
Yeah.
Like, you see Hermione take the form of Bellatrix Lestrange, and you see Ron suddenly transform too, and you're going, who the fuck is that?
Yeah.
The only reason you know it was him is because it's still his voice.
Yeah, like I said, the movie is good, but there are quite a few complaints I want to bring up towards it, and things that they should have fixed. One of which, in the beginning, when they're doing the theft in the bank to get the Horcrux, I wished more time had been spent building up this theft, and more time could have been spent as Hermione as Bellatrix, because I felt like a lot of comedy could have came from that, and would have helped alleviate the movie a bit, because it's so dark.
It's depressing.
And depressing, and there's a lot of action, but there's like, you do need moments every now and then of levity to like bring a little bit of humor to it.
You know, you don't want to make your audience leave the theater crying. So that was one problem, was that they just didn't explain a lot. There's quite a few points where that happens.
Yeah, like the Resurrection Stone.
Yeah.
They didn't explain jack shit about that.
Not really.
I mean, it's assumed that he used it to bring himself back, but I don't know.
Another problem is that it's kind of like the Transformers movie, too, where it was too focused on one group of people. Because while the school is under attack and everyone's fighting, some important people die.
It would have been nice to see.
Key people in the story. And you don't get to see it happen. You only just get to see them dead, assuming that, like, okay, that's what happened. You would like to see them fighting.
Yeah. That was my biggest complaint about the movie, is like, we really should have had moments to show off these characters that we've come to love over the years fighting in Hogwarts. More time should have been spent on the actual siege of like the actual fighting of Hogwarts, seeing these characters duke it out, like Hagrid picking up guys and chucking them, and Lupin and Tonks fighting, and then seeing them die.
And George and Fred, you know, seeing one of them fighting together and one of them getting killed, you know.
Another complaint I have is when Bellatrix dies, not enough time was spent on that fight.
It was like a very short...
And rushed.
Yeah, it seemed very short and rushed just because we know it's a long movie. There's a lot... It's a long book. There's a lot to cover, and you're trying to get through it all. So I'm sure there are things that the directors wanted to do more of, wanted to extend, but there were times where we think they could have spent a little more time on certain aspects of the movie.
Considering the fact that Bellatrix Lestrange
was such a huge threat the entire movie series.
And the whole series has caused so much suffering and killed so many prominent characters, gets like not even a minute action sequence, and she's promptly killed. You know, a bit more time should have been spent with that fight and the anger towards the Weasley mother has towards Bellatrix for killing one of her sons.
Yeah. And,
you know, we really should have, you know, not too long, but done a bit more with it.
Overall, though, I would still say good action. The siege on Hogwarts is a fantastic scene, though.
Yeah, it's impressive. A lot was everything they did show. We're just saying we wanted more.
Which, you know, is kind of a good thing. If you leave your audience wanting more, then obviously you were doing something right.
Yeah, kind of.
You were on the right path, you just didn't finish the walk.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of what other complaints I really had in the epilogue. I would have kept that out.
Everyone just laughed at that, you know.
Which is never a good thing.
Well, depending...
Unless you intended it to be funny. Which I don't think was intended to be funny. It's like in Green Lantern when you had Hector Herman, who's supposed to be the big villain threat. And the audience laughed at him.
Just because he was getting to look so ridiculous. It's kind of like what happened here.
Yeah, if you want to have a serious scene, don't make it look funny. If it looks really funny, then don't have it.
Harry's talking to his son, Albus Severus Potter, which is ridiculous, by the way. But he's like, but Dad, what if I get put into Slytherin? You know, you're named after Severus, who was a great headmaster.
No, you're named after two of the best headmasters of Hogwarts. But you can say where you want to go. The hat will take that into consideration.
I want his son to go, all right, I want to be part of Hufflepuff. And Harry just slaps his son and goes, you will be Gryffindor!
Ravenclaw at best. The reason why it's so funny is because all the characters look ridiculous. Ron has like a pot belly.
And he's like balding.
Like all the makeup is just like, oh, it looked horrid.
There were some things I do wish they kind of put in, like the fact that Lupin and Tonks did have a son at the time, and that they actually made Harry the godfather.
But you don't see him in the epilogue.
You do see him.
Oh,
He's like, they don't pay attention to him at all. He is walking with them, and then kind of continues on his own.
He disappears.
You can kind of tell it is him because he has the wavy hair and everything, but they don't bring that up at all.
And they don't.
Which I think was a big part.
And another problem I had is they don't tie all the loose ends. Because in the first film, Hermione erases her parents' memory of her. Did she restore the memory?
Did she just let it go?
Did she say fuck all and let him live a miserable, childless life together? I don't know. It would have been nice if that had been fixed. Not important, I know, but if you're going to tie all the knots, don't leave one hanging.
Overall, we still enjoyed it.
Yeah.
It's still Harry Potter, It's nice to see really good scenery in it. Some good action scenes. A couple of funny parts here and there, like a Voldemort aborted fetus.
Yeah, the funny parts are moments that were not meant to be funny, like I was saying earlier, like the epilogue and the Voldemort fetus. and the very cryptic Dumbledore. The unnecessarily cryptic Dumbledore.
So we would say, you know what, you can go see it.
I mean,
the 3D in it, actually, there were some scenes that were not bad.
I would say don't see it in 3D because...
Yeah, I would say don't. 3D is a waste of time and money, but as far as 3D movies go, it wasn't one of the worst.
Yes, Morganlicious. Will you have something to add?
Would you like to comment on the D-Box?
I was getting to that.
We're getting to that.
We saw this movie in 3D D-Box seating. Now, if you don't know what D-Box seating is, basically
Then you're poor.
You're sitting in a chair, and at certain scenes in the movie, you'll go clunk, clunk,
It's way better than that.
clunk, vibrate, clunk.
It's basically like watching... It's like a theme park ride where you're in a motion seat. If you've ever been to Disneyland and down Star Tours, that's basically what it is.
Yes, and honestly, if I wanted to go to a theme park, I would go to a theme park. I want to watch a movie, not be at a theme park.
You know, I thought it was fun.
I turned it off after the previews because I'm like, this is going to be too distracting.
Oh yeah, because he can't multitask because of the tumor in his brain.
Because I want to be entertained by the film, not be entertained by clunk, clunk. Yeah, this is great. I just wanted to watch a movie.
So I thought it was fine.
So I think D-Box seating is the bane of our generation
No.
for film because it's unnecessary and we don't need it.
Yes.
Eric, do you think it added anything?
I don't think it added anything. It was fun. I'll say that much. I thought it was entertaining to do. Kind of like go along with the movie, but overall, you know, depending on the movie, I might try to, maybe with Conan.
Maybe if it was like a different movie, maybe it was like Transformers 3.
Maybe a movie with a lot of sex scenes.
Yes, yes.
So overall, I mean, I'm not really sure what else we can say about the movie. You know about all the actors already. They've all been introduced. There's really no one new.
Yeah. So, yeah, yes.
Did you like the whole Snape thing?
Oh, yeah, that was probably the best part of the film.
Yeah, is that they do develop Snape a lot more as a character. Same as Voldemort, too. Those are two characters that have...
the most development.
That are finally given a lot more
bitch
spotlight. Although you don't get to see him as much as I would like.
Oh, and also Neville Longbottom got the most development as well. Those are like the three characters that got like the most development as characters.
And yet very little screen time, too.
Which was effective. I mean, it didn't need to be too prominent.
He had a nice speech.
Neville?
Yeah.
Yeah, he was okay.
Yeah, a nice little speech.
He had the rallying speech, and it was fine.
So anyway, you know, we'd recommend go see it.
If you've watched them all up to this point, you might as well just finish it.
See it all the way through.
Yeah, you might as well just...
until the next Harry Potter movie.
There won't be.
It will happen. It will happen.
What if they decide to reboot it all and do all 8 films all over again?
God help us.
It could happen. I mean, this is a $3 billion franchise, so...
Yeah, look at how much money... God, the movie made more like $1 million even before it came out.
It did $169 million in its opening weekend.
Like $1 billion if you count everything.
International, it was up to $500,000 opening weekend alone. It's probably close to $1 billion, if not already at $1 billion now, which is a tad bit ridiculous. I think the D boxes and the 3Ds had a lot to do with that.
Yeah, probably. Anyway, you know, we'd recommend it. As a good summer movie, it's better than Transformers, by far.
Yeah, I'd rather you watch this than Transformers.
And so, go see it. That's
all right.
all we can really say. And as usual, if you don't like it...
okay.